everyone. This is Susan Gerbic from the GSoW Wikipedia project. What a crazy year 2016 has been. I think most people will agree with me on that. The recent election results have brought GSoW many new people to train. It seems that people are looking for a way to fight back against anti-science nonsense, and they are correct. GSoW is a great avenue to make real change and educate. I don't think I've ever had this many people in training at one time ever, and that's fine with us. We can always use more, so please feel free to step up and join. I've just returned from speaking at the New Zealand Skeptics Conference. I have several really interesting interviews for you coming up, so watch out for those on upcoming Skepticalities. I do want to give you listeners a few updates. I've been a member of the New Zealand Skeptics Facebook group for over a year now, and I'm embarrassed to say that I thought they were a recent formation. I thought they only existed to have skeptics in the pub events and share a few articles. I was pretty surprised to find out that they had a Wikipedia page. It contained 2 short paragraphs and a logo. I didn't think they had much history. A few weeks ago, I decided to take another look and expected to spend a few minutes trying to add a bit more to the page. It took me a little over 20 hours, but when I was done, I had completely rewritten the page. I had a lot of help. The New Zealand community researched things for me. They uploaded photographs and video, and they've existed since 1986, and they started right off holding conferences. The New Zealand skeptics have been handing out Bravo Awards, which they give to the media when they do good skeptical reporting, and a Bent Spoon Award for bad reporting. They seem to have a great relationship with the media. I found one instance of a reporter asking for help from the group and saying, "We don't want to be the recipient of a bent spoon next year, so could you please advise us?" I've never heard that before. In 2014, the group started handing out a Skeptic of the Year award, named for one of their founders, Dennis Dutton, who himself was a very interesting character. Mark Hanna, who spoke at this year's conference, was their first recipient. In 2015, they awarded it to Daniel Ryan, who's the president of Making Sense of Fluoride. This year's winner was Susie Wiles, a microbiologist and science communicator. Reading old issues of their newsletter, I discovered that the group has a rich history and an active membership. I think that the new Wikipedia page now represents this. In other news, Chief Executive of the British Humanist Association, Andrew Copson, just received a badly needed rewrite. Copson has spoken before the House of Commons and the United Nations about humanist issues. And Alrup Chatterjee is a physician who wrote the book Mother Teresa, The Untold Story. He also received a much-needed rewrite. Chatterjee was one of 2 devil's advocates to the beatification of Mother Teresa in 2003. The other person was Christopher Hitchens. Chatterjee is from Calcutta, but before the publication of his book, he moved to the UK. Remember, Skepticality listeners, there are people in this world that are risking their lives to speak out about these topics. GSoW is trying to have their back in the only way we know how. Author Lisa Pulitzer also received a rewrite. She's an American author who specializes in books about cults and religion. She was a ghostwriter for a member of the Westboro Baptist Church and another from an ex-Mormon. She's also the co-author of Jenna Miscavige Hill's book, Beyond Belief. Speaking of Jenna Miscavige Hill, her Wikipedia page also received a rewrite. You might remember the name Miscavige, the current leader of Scientology? Yep, Jenna is the niece of David Miscavige, so it made big news when she escaped from the church and released a best-selling book about her experiences. British particle physicist Jeff Forshaw also just received a brand new page. Forshaw co-wrote the book Why Does E = MC Squared? With Brian Cox. LifeRing Secular Recovery received a brand new Wikipedia page. This is a secular organization that provides peer-run help for those seeking recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. One really important thing I want to mention is the Chatterjee, Pulitzer, Miscavige Hill, Jeff Forshaw, LifeRing, and Andrew Copson pages. Well, in other words, everything I've just mentioned other than the New Zealand Skeptic pages were written almost exclusively by one brand new editor, Ruth Noland. To be fair, she did have a lot of help on the Copson page as it had been in the works for months, but she stuck a fork in it and called it done. Ruth came to GSoW after listening to my interview on the Scathing Atheist podcast. She told me that she's computer literate and had no other experience working with Wikipedia. She told me she's old school. She finished training a few months ago and is motoring through the work. She attended her first Skeptic Conference, QED, which maybe fired her up. We need a lot more old schoolers like Ruth, so bring them on. We just had another editor finish training, Juan Druin, who lives in Argentina. He just released a rewrite of the Skeptical Inquirer magazine's Wikipedia page in Spanish. GSoW editors Julie and Harold Barretts from the Brisbane Skeptics in Australia wrote the Wikipedia pages for 3 speakers at the New Zealand Skeptics Conference: veterinarian Mark Bryan, science teacher Tanya Lineman, and ecologist Andrew Digby. All live in New Zealand. Harold and Julie also attended the New Zealand conference, and we worked together to collect audio and photos for use on other pages. We all left the conference with much longer to-do lists. Editor Janice Boynton did a rewrite of the Jason Silva Wikipedia page. Silva is a Venezuelan TV personality that uses technology to promote science. You might know him as the co-host of Brain Games. Phil Hoff wrote a Wikipedia page for the children's book, I Used to Be a Fish, which is aimed at 4 to 8-year-olds. It's written by Tom Sullivan, and it's the story of a boy who imagines his pet fish telling him the story of evolution. Skepticality listeners, you might remember Derek interviewing another children's author, Jonathan Tweet. We rewrote the Wikipedia page for him, and then Phil Hoff created a Wikipedia page for his book, Grandmother Fish, which is also a book aimed at children focusing on the story of evolution. We gotta get them while they're young. Phil also recently wrote a Wikipedia page for the book Let 'Em Eat Precaution by John and Tyne. This is a book about how politics is undermining the genetic revolution in agriculture. This book is from 2005, but still very timely. The John and Tyne Wikipedia page has received quite a bit of GSoW love as well. We have to have these people's back so they can continue doing great work. While attending the New York City Skeptic Camp last month, Phil heard a presentation by a speaker for the Young Skeptics. Phil was so impressed that he went home and wrote a Wikipedia page for them. The Young Skeptics is an after-school program sponsored by the Better News Club, a program only started in 2015. Obviously, it formed out of concern of the evangelical Christian group Good News Club. I don't know if you're starting to pick up a trend here, but it seems to me that my GSoW editors tend to become energized after attending skeptic conferences. When I'm asked to speak, not only do I gain more editors to train, but my people are inspired to write about the people they meet there. This is a trend we've noticed for some time, and why GSoW is hoping to become a nonprofit in 2017 to fund more conference attendance by GSoW editors. So watch out for more information coming soon. Lastly, I want to mention that if you want to visit the Monterey, California area, January 6th through 7th, my group, the Monterey County Skeptics, will be having our 3rd Skeptic Camp. We have several interesting speakers scheduled for you, and we are bringing in one of the few professional paranormal investigators, author of many books, including his latest on bad clowns, Ben Radford. Despite who is our next president, we do need to do what we can to fight against anti-science and continue to have the backs of the people and organizations that are on the front lines. Please reach out to us and join our project. I promise we're a lot of fun, and what we do does make a giant difference. We train and mentor you all the way through. Write to us at gsowteam@gmail.com.